Good Shabbos, everyone, and good morning. For many of us, summer is the time for long car rides, trips to explore the country or travel to see family. We just returned from a 1,000-mile journey, moving in our older son to college for his first year. And among the many preparations made for that milestone moment, for a long drive, we wanted to get our car checked out and our route plotted. Even in our time of Waze and GPS, we no longer needed those triptychs, those handwritten directions from AAA, highlighted with the orange line, the pages of highways and exits. But still, we wanted to make sure we literally knew the way that our car would make it, to get it checked out, avoiding any preventable obstacle or challenge as we embarked on a special journey and a new beginning. Today actually marks a special moment for every one of us as Jews, as we begin to formally prepare for the New Year and the high holidays right now, literally today, Hayom, on Rosh Chodesh Elul. This is the beginning of the month before the high holidays. So today is the day that we begin to draw up our spiritual maps and plot our own paths for a new year, God willing, a better year. Like that 5,000-mile checkup, it's time to look under the hood, to tune up our hearts and our souls, to take a closer look at the choices that we have made this past year, the lives that we are leading right now, and perhaps reevaluate or reroute or reorient ourselves to tune up our lives so that we can run more efficient, more clean, more focused on being the best that we can be for ourselves, for our family, for our community, and for our world. And that's just what our Torah portion says. Parshat Re'eh, in its opening line, says this in the Hebrew, Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. Our Parsha continues with a series of laws and instructions highlighting the choices that we make as individuals and as a community, the laws of kashrut, the dietary laws, the laws of Shemitah, the sabbatical year, a plan to provide for the vulnerable, the poor in our own midst, and to share our bounty. The first word of our Parsha Re'eh is a key word for us to know. Re'eh is the word which means to see, to open our eyes, and to look. But interestingly, our Torah portion, or actually the entire book of Deuteronomy, the focus of Deuteronomy is not in seeing, but in hearing. And the words Shema Yisrael are repeated over and over again in our Torah. Shema means to listen and to hear, to understand, to internalize, to take to heart, to pay attention, and to learn. So why does this most important stretch of our Jewish year and of Jewish time, our tune-up for the high holidays, emphasize our eyes and sight and not our ears and listening? What should we be seeing right now when we know that appearances can be deceiving? The rabbis, I think, want us to be nearsighted and farsighted. For those who have glasses, you probably know about being nearsighted or farsighted. To look closely at our own lives, at the choices that we make for ourselves, but also to have a long view, to take a different perspective, to choose which values and path will get us there, not only the fastest way, not only the safest way, but the best way, so that we can strive and hope to be the type of person that we want to emulate to the world and to our families and to our community. On our Torah portion, the Torah commentator Sfat Emet writes that God implanted within each of us a candle, but the candle is not yet lit. That we each have to find the flame, find the spark, find our purpose that will light that flame of God within each and every one of us. And we have the ability to do that most especially during this time as we prepare for the new year, during the month of Elul, this time of introspection, self-evaluation, and self-reflection. Our Torah portion implores us to open our eyes and see that we have the choice each moment to change for the better, to not be caught in a rut or routine or perhaps going off course, making bad choices. But we can right our wrongs. We can light that candle within ourselves and better ourselves by choosing the highest values to live by. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are baseball fans, but if you're a batter in baseball, the ideal is to have a good eye. And a batter that has a good eye anticipates where a ball is going to be and knows when to swing and when not to swing. And in fact, the rabbis say in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Sages, that we should live an ayin tovah, that we should live with a good eye. There, the rabbis are understanding and teaching that a person with a good eye sees the good in one's life, that we acknowledge and are grateful for all the brachot, all the blessings in our lives, and that when we look at other people, we try to find the good in each and every one of them. I'm not sure if that's something that we do all the time. Do we live with an ayin tovah? Do we see the good in our lives, see the blessings in our lives? And also, when we look out in the world and look out at each other, do we look for the good, or do we only see the bad? Can we live with an ayin tovah? That's something the rabbis asked of us. So even though I said that the Torah portion and this time period is focused on our sight, what we look at and what we see, starting tomorrow morning, we're going to hear something. Tomorrow morning begins the 30-day time during the month of Elul in which the shofar is sounded. So even though our Torah portion focuses on sight, what we see and what we should be seeing of ourselves when we look under our hood. Every morning for the coming month, we'll blow the shofar to remind us of where we are and where we must be. Like a lifeguard's whistle when a swimmer strays too far off course for fear of getting pulled away in the current, the shofar reminds us it's time to come home, to come back to ourselves. The call of the shofar reminds us of the voice of the prophets that denounce wrong, reminds us of the heroic faith of our ancestors, that we too can stand up and raise our voices to help those who are wronged, those vulnerable, those in need. And it also reminds us that all of our actions are judged and recorded in the heavenly books, on our own tablets in our hearts, and that we have the opportunity to rewrite them, to change them, to transform and do tshuva. The shofar is sounded to stir our consciousness, to urge us to confront our errors, to return to ourselves and to God. So it reminds us where we are at the crossroads approaching the new year, to look inside ourselves and look under a hood to find our true selves and to light that divine candle that is yet to be lit. So how should we start this month of Elul? Is it simply by having a good eye, by taking a long perspective that in 40 days from now, by the way, that's Yom Kippur. In 40 days from now, we will be a changed person, a new person. We're not going to get a new eye. Are we going to get new lenses? Are we going to see what's in front of us, what's under our hood, and where we're going? A new direction, a new path. We can start, of course, by being kind and compassionate, by greeting people with a cheerful face, by hearing the shofar call and heeding to it, knowing that it is our time to do our own tune-up, our reorientation, to make better choices so that we know exactly what path we need to be on, by helping refugees, by opening up our hearts to all those in need. So during this month of Elul, the month to come as we prepare for the holidays, may we all open our eyes to have a good eye, like the batter in the batter box, that we should anticipate and know how we can help others. We should anticipate our actions and strive to always do good, that we should strive to be better by bringing out our true and pure self, by lighting that special candle that is implanted within our souls and helping it shine throughout our lives and our community and our world. Shabbat Shalom. We'll rise now as Michael Linden leads